Good morning. You're joining us live here on India Today's social media handles. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, getting you all the top stories that we're tracking this Friday morning. Lots that's happened in Maharashtra. I want to begin with a breaking update that's just come in here on India Today, which is on what's played out in the Supreme Court. Uddhav Thackerays, another last-ditch attempt to get some legal relief. It's been shot down by the Supreme Court. Essentially, what's happening is that on 3rd and 4th of July, so that's Sunday and Monday, you're going to be seeing a special assembly session taking place in which also a trust vote will be taken up. That's on Monday. Now, Uddhav Thackerays wanted the 16 rebel MLAs to be suspended, and he's approached the Supreme Court on that, saying don't allow these MLAs to enter the assembly. They have no right to vote in that confidence vote. However, the Supreme Court has said that we can't urgently hear this matter. Remember that the previous petition filed by the Uddhav camp was pushed to 11th July. So the Supreme Court is saying we will hear all of these matters together on 11th July. We're not going to hear this urgently, immediately. So that means that during the floor test, all these rebels will be allowed to vote. So it's another big setback for Uddhav Thackerays, another positive, another win for the Shinde Sena. Of course, Eknath Shinde is now the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Nobody saw that twist coming because everyone thought that Devendra Fadnavis is going to be the Chief Minister. Instead, it's almost as if he's got a demotion from Chief Minister. He's now the Deputy Chief Minister. And that also happened after he first announced that he wants nothing to do with this government. He's not going to be a part of the government, not in a bad way. He essentially said that to communicate that Eknath Shinde is going to be the Chief Minister. But after that, there was a very public appeal put out by JP Nadda, by the BJP chief, saying he's worked so much and we request Fadnavis to become the Deputy Chief Minister. Fadnavis readily agreed. But that was a twist, like I said, that nobody saw coming. With Eknath Shinde being made the Chief Minister, why was it done first of all? Well, essentially, the BJP has done this to ensure that this is another setback for Uddhav Thackerays. Obviously, with Eknath Shinde being made the Chief Minister, there'll be a lot of Shiv Sainiks who extend their support now to Shinde. It cements his position as the real Shiv Sena, and that's what this battle now is all about. The political instability, the crisis in Maharashtra, etc. has more or less ended. It's all been ironed out now with Eknath Shinde being named the Chief Minister for now. But the fight for the real Shiv Sena will now start up. Uddhav Thackerays has going in his favor only one thing, which is his last name, the Thackerays, because that's synonymous, symbolic with the Shiv Sena itself. But beyond that, he's losing ground, he's losing support, he's received no legal setback, he doesn't have the numbers with him. He could perhaps move the Election Commission, but right now, is he in a state to move the Election Commission? Not really, because again, the same problem of numbers not being on his side. Days ago, we were talking about the Deputy Speaker's role because that clearly worked in Uddhav Thackerays' favor. The fact that he was using the Deputy Speaker, who was from the NCP, to kind of move forward the disqualification, etc. of the rebels. That also will change because in this special assembly session that happens on Sunday and Monday, on 3rd and 4th July, a new speaker will be elected. Someone obviously who is either from the BJP or one of the rebels, part of the Shinde Sena. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens on that front. But while we speak of Maharashtra, let me also focus on one big controversy that's playing out. Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde, they held their first cabinet meet yesterday. Not really a cabinet, only 2 of them have been sworn in. So they were there for this meeting. And the first decision that's been taken is that the metro car shed project, which was moved out of RA by Uddhav Thackerays, is going to be brought back into the RA colony. Why is this important? Because in 2019, we saw massive protests happening across Maharashtra over this issue. You had activists up in arms saying that you cannot have a metro car shed within RA colony. It's forest area. You're going to be destroying the environment, etc. This is the green lung of Mumbai. The BJP stood by their stand and said very clearly that they want this metro car shed project there. Uddhav Thackerays, when he became the Chief Minister, overturned Fadnavis' decision, moved the metro car project out of RA. Now Fadnavis and Shinde are back. Now they're again saying, let's put it back in RA colony. And already activists are up in arms. So that's one controversial aspect of this entire story that's already emerged, with many questioning Shinde and Fadnavis over this move. That's essentially all that's happened in Maharashtra. I want to move to the other big story, Udaipur, the beheading and the investigation since. The two killers, Mohammad Riaz and Mohammad Ghaus, they are in custody of the police, but with a lot of intel reports suggesting that there's a threat to their lives, especially when they were produced in court yesterday. They have now been moved to a high security prison in Ajmer. So they're no longer in Udaipur. They've been moved to Ajmer. They're being kept at a high security prison because there is some input suggesting that there's a threat to their life. Considering that, there have been a lot of threatening social media posts about targeting these two, revenge and to retaliate over Kanhaiya Lal's killing, the 40-year-old tailor who was butchered, who was beheaded by these two men. But as the investigation progresses, the NIA has stepped in. They're making their way to Rajasthan as we speak to officially take over the investigation. But at this point, the anti-terror squad has recovered the murder weapons. The knives that you saw in the video after killing of Kanhaiya, the two killers held their knives, showed it up to the video, etc. That's been recovered as well by the ATS. That will essentially help in building a strong case against the killers. Besides that, what they've also said is that while they went through some of the evidence they have, electronic evidence like the accused's phones, they realized that they were a part of a number of WhatsApp groups with Pakistani radicals as well. And there was a detailed discussion about the comment made by Nupur Sharma on the Prophet Muhammad. And there was talk about revenge. There was talk about a big act of retaliation. And perhaps it's because of that these two got radicalized and took such an extremist step, because this is clearly an ISIS-style beheading. Besides that, we've covered the investigation aspect. Remember that there was one issue that we also mentioned about how Kanhaiya Lal knew that his life was in danger, approached the police, and yet nothing was done. Now, on that aspect, the Gehlot government has promised action. An ASI has already been suspended. But beyond that now, the IG of Udaipur, the SP of Udaipur, both of them have been removed over protests, over backlash, etc. So, much needed step there, essentially also by the Gehlot government, keeping in mind the kind of outrage over how the police, the local police in particular, took care of this matter, didn't do enough to protect Kanhaiya Lal when he told them that he was being threatened, when he told them that he was facing death threats, and even filed a police complaint. So these are the two stories that we're tracking very closely here on India Today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Have a great day ahead. Have a great week.